very happy to be here. I strongly believe that I have solved climate crisis. Right. I'm going to show you how. As I go through my climate actions, I want to challenge you in a creative way to use technologies like AI, 5G to maximize their impact. You can tell me later during Q&A. Okay, so to solve a problem, we must first find out what is the root cause. What is the root cause of climate crisis? Climate change has escalated to become a climate crisis. Now, even the scientists, they even claim climate emergency. But what can I, so small, insignificant, what can I do about it? So the root cause of this problem is actually civilization. You see, the moment Homo sapien discovered fire, thus releasing carbon into atmosphere. See, 7,000 BCE, we have already started climate crisis. Right? It only accelerated when we start pumping out fossil fuel from the ground and started in the industrial revolution, the industrial age. So the proponent, I would put it as BAU, business as usual. There are three components to BAU. I call it the trinity of mass destruction. The first one, on top, we have the financiers, the bankers, the one with the big pockets, right? Then, on the other side, we have corporations, see? They make products for us to use and consume, right? The third component is governments, right? See, when you have when you have deep pockets, you give out loans, right? So, the financiers give out loans to corporations, they give out loans to governments. I don't care how you get the money. Every year you have to give me interest. That's all they care about. They don't care how or what they do with that money. End of the day, they just want the interest. They only care about profit. Right? Then corporations. I'm sure most of you works in corporation. Right? What corporation does? The corporation make money, right, for bosses, for shareholders, and like some cases, they exploit nature. See, we have loggings, we have minings, bauxite minings, we have what else? Then we also exploit humans, right? Do you remember the case where the Bangladeshi workers in the sweatshop, they work so hard every day and earn less than $1 per day, and then the building collapsed on them and died? Yeah, fast fashion. So, and also in cotton farmers in India, they couldn't make their ends meet, so they took poison and killed themselves. I wonder what poison tastes like sometimes. So, politicians, you know them. You love them, you hate them. Right. So, in a campaign for election, then you have sponsors, right? So, who are the sponsors? People with deep pocket corporations. So, when they get elected, well, they ask back for favors. That's why. So, Seneca said, don't rely on hope. So, I cannot rely on the government, the financiers. I cannot rely on government financiers and corporations to solve climate crisis. So, I appeal to the most powerful person in my reality. Me. So, with a biosphere consciousness and Kant's categorical imperative as my guide, here are my climate actions. So 8, 8, 8 is my number, apparently, right? If we go through a life cycle analysis of a personal environmental impact, see, the day you are born to the day you die, you consume products, you consume services. Each and every one of the products and services, they have a carbon footprint. Say you have diapers, you have bicycles, your car, your holiday in Bali, right? Every episode of GOT you watch, binge watch on Netflix, right? Every services and products you consume has a carbon footprint. So you ask me, hey Joseph, what is your carbon footprint? No idea. See, won't it be great if we can use the technology in the form of an app on the handphone? Say you go for shopping, 11:11, right? Then you buy something. Then maybe the app will show you exactly how much carbon is emitted in the production and also delivery. How cool is that? Then you can keep track of your carbon footprint. See, personal carbon footprint. So according to emission database of Global Atmospheric Research, AGR in short, our carbon footprint as Malaysia per capita is 8 tons of carbon dioxide per annum. So if you are Malaysian, we are on the same boat, 8. So this is what I call environmental debt. In action, this debt will snowball to the next generation, to the next generation, and to the next generation, you see. So we must break this cycle at all costs, for Earth's sake. So how can we break this cycle? So to be a carbon negative individual. So Albert Einstein once said, look deeper into nature, then you will understand everything better. So I did. So one day I was in Penang. I was on my mountain bike going up Penang Hill. More like pushing because I'm not so fit anymore, you see. So I chanced upon a troop of monkey, right? They are the langur, spectacled langur, or dusky leaf monkeys. Then I see them monkeying around doing their, monkey business. Then I thought to myself, wow, we as humans were primates. So what is the purpose of a monkey? So what is the purpose of a monkey? So let me show you. See, the monkey eat fruits, make compost too. And the third one is the most important one, throw seeds, plant trees. You see a monkey plant trees every single day of their life. By the end of their life, how many trees would they have planted? Right. So number one of my climate action is fruit for lunch, right? Fruit or frugivorous diet. So only one meal a day I'm substituting with fruits. And I grew up in Penang, you see. We got all the char kway teow and all the nice food, ais kacang, rojak. So I cannot give up 100% to a fruit diet. So one meal a day is a compromise. So where I get the fruits? I get from my garden. I get the fruits from the orang asli. I get the local fruits is my priority. You know why? Because I can make compost, and the most important one, I can save the seeds and plant later, right? So this is my first climate action. So how can we use technology to maybe help us choose the type of food that is low carbon? I'm sure you all heard about Google, Google goggles, right? So let's say if you go to a store, you put on your glasses, then you can see, oh, that is apple from America or South Africa. Then you say, oh, it's so far, the food mount is X and X, and it uses Roundup, which is a pesticide by Monsanto. Then I say, okay, no thank you. Then you go to this one. Oh, this one is just from, we are in Selangor, so it's in Selangor. Ah, this one very close, and this one is farmed by, the local farmer or orang asli. Oh, I should pick this one. How cool is that? So this is one of the technology you can use to choose and pick the food we eat. Right, the second one is composting. Right, the second act the monkey does is to compost. So what I do food waste in my house. Going towards zero waste for my house, by the way. So we have food waste, organic waste, and human manure. Right. So every end of the day we have. I even make a compost pit. A tumbler I call it, where my 7-year-old and 4-year-old they can use. So every night, they have some organic waste. They just open up and then put in, and then they can roll it. See. So also I'm experimenting with composting toilet. Well, let me tell you a secret. Composting toilet doesn't splash. Right. So how can we make IoT to control this compost? Right. I'm doing a hot composting. So 18 days we get compost from the day we start. Right. So if you have some sensors IoT that tells you, oh, this is the right temperature. Okay, then maybe a motorized one you can spin, every interval you pre-program and tell with the app, hey, your compost is ready, you can plant more trees. How cool is that? Right. And then also if I can IoT my toilet, you heard of Google Analytics, right? How about a stool analytics? you do your business, and then pop up come, oh, today you eat too much nasi lemak, you should cut down on that carb. Why don't you go for a fruit-based diet? Right. So these are some of the ideas you can use for this climate action. So the third one is grow more, buy less. Right. So I am practicing. At the moment, they call it the syntropic agroforestry. It's founded by a Swiss botanist, Ernest Gotch, and my sifu is actually Namaste, right? So he taught me how to plant. There are two words to summarize this technique is mimicking nature, right? If you have been to parks and in the national parks for vacation trekking, you would notice that in the forest you have tall trees, Amazon, you have the middle strata tree, you have the high strata, you have the low strata. They grow so close to each other. Why is that? Because in agroforestry, in the forest, in natural forest, all organisms work together. They have their purpose, they have their space, and they have their time. Right? So with that understanding, that's how we plant. So if we don't plant monocrop, right? We know, very familiar with monocrop, right? So 1 tree, same 1 tree, 1 tree, and you get a lot of inputs. Water, you need a lot of water. You need a lot of pesticide. You need a lot of fertilizer. Paddy is monocrop, by the way. So yes. So I set up at my house to plant. I've got papaya trees in my house, mango, jackfruit, custard apple, coconut, cassava, ginger, turmeric, umbrella, passion fruit, cacao, dragon fruit, guava, soursop, mulberry, chili, to name a few. You see, one tree absorbs 25 kilos of carbon per year. So for me, my number, remember, what's my number? 8. So I need to absorb 8 tons. So I would have need to plant 320 adult tree to absorb my footprint, personal one. So I set out on a mission to do just that, to be carbon neutral. 1. So I've also adopted a forest in Pahang, 9 acres, which I'm going to plant 10,000 trees, but just to be safe. Just to be safe. So I'm thinking of a way. You see, if you plant in a forest scenario, it can absorb so much carbon as opposed to monocrop. You see, so if I can make this carbon negative food production with a carbon neutral logistic and through a platform, I can actually bring to the masses carbon negative food. Can you imagine every fruit or food you eat is actually carbon negative? You help, you eat a banana, you help absorb carbon from the air. How cool is that? So here, how to digitalize this? I foresee we would have a lot of agroforestry farmers around Malaysia, and we will be connected through a platform, an app, and we can link the farmers to the consumers straight. So you bypass the middleman. So you get the best. So you get the no pesticide, no fertilizer, carbon negative food to the masses. That's what I think in the future. Right. So enough marketing, right? The fourth climate action I took was rainwater harvesting, right? As you can see, this is actually rainwater. So at my gutter and the downpipe, I installed the leaf filter, first flush, store it in a tank. Then I have some element filter. So when I want to drink, I could use the water from my tank, rainwater tank, and then I put it in a glass container, sun it for 2 hours to kill all the pathogen, and I pour it in my livestock filter. See, if everyone harvests rainwater, maybe we have a chance. Maybe we have the chance to reduce flash flood in urban areas, right? And how? Okay, so the question is now, how do we digitalize this rainwater harvesting? Okay, maybe we have a flow meter on the pipe and how many liters we collect, and then we can perhaps get some incentive from government. Do you know why? Last flood in Kelantan, we actually spent 3 billion to rectify the problem caused by flash flood, right? So I think we should be incentivized to harvest rainwater, and then if everyone does it, then who needs a new water dam or catchment? Right, we can abolish existing one. So yes, that's my. Okay, this one is the one I'm going to talk about related to smart grid. Now I'm coming to it. Number 5, renewable energy. So I have at my house 10 kilowatt of solar, which is 40 modules. I'm generating about 1,000 kilowatt hour per month. But I'm only importing, means I buy from TMB only 150. So in that sense, I'm already carbon negative in terms of energy, right? But I didn't stop there, see? Because I know that this 150 kilowatt hour is generated from coal or gas from TMB. So what I did, I put on another 6 panels, which is 2 kilowatt peak of solar module, solar panels, and then I built my own DIY power wall. See, the one from Tesla was too expensive lah, and nobody imports them. See, so I built my own DIY Powerwall with AGM batteries. So they are 48 kilowatt hour of storage. So now my house is 100% renewable. Right. So in Malaysia we have 34 gigawatt worth of rooftop potential. Right, 34. That's what YBU mentioned. Right. So we at 14.5 annual availability, we can generate and store up to 119 gigawatt hour worth of energy, right? So, but the key to implementation is cheaper storage solution. Could be in the form of a subsidy, right? And infrastructure financing. I remember the time when we first started FIT, maybe 7 years or 6 years ago. You know, the banks were giving out finance 8%. I said, wow, 8%. Come on, this is like personal loan, right? But if you are